I'm going to be showing you a champagne bottle that is pouring over the nail for 2021. And has anybody else, raise of hands, really looking forward to being done with 2020, or is it just me? I'm pretty sure the entire world is just over with 2020. So this nail is extra extreme, extra exciting, extra just like glam, boom, stuff everywhere, because I feel like this is almost as exciting as the turn of the century 2000, because it's just everybody's so done with 2020. And so there's the champagne bottle, like I said, and the cork is popping off the other side. There's some rhinestones, there's glittery colors, there's everything. I just love this nail. And all of these acrylic colors are from Double Dip, and I'll put links to them in the description box below, as well as my coupon code. So if you are thinking of doing a purchase on Double Dip, I would really appreciate if you use my code. I do earn a small commission on that, and that just helps me make more of these lovely videos and keeps this one in yogurt raisins. So don't forget to check out that code, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!
So I'm going to begin with an overlay of clear acrylic, and the reason I'm going to sculpt it with clear acrylic versus sculpting with black acrylic, because I want that background color to be black, is because I think that even if you sculpt an overlay with black acrylic, there's always different layers and depths of black, because where you file it nice and thin and taper it down at like the proximal fold, it's not going to be as opaque. And with this nail, I want it to be like solid pitch black. So we're going to do gel polish instead. So after you got that clear layer down, go ahead and file it into shape. Make sure that it's really nice and smooth, and blend it down everywhere it needs to be blended down. And now we're going to be painting it with a 1 to 2 coats of black gel polish. If you really need 2 coats, depending on what brand you're using, then go with that. Otherwise, 1 coat should hopefully be good enough. And then a layer of some glossy gel top coat and cure it again. So now using the E-file and a narrow bit, drill a hole right in the middle of the nail. And now using the color St. Nicholas, which is 748, I'm going to be sculpting my champagne bottle, or at least starting to sculpt my champagne bottle. So around the base of a straw, or around a straw, we're going to be sculpting the base of the bottle. So like the bigger major part of it is where we're going to start. So for this design, you need a couple different sizes of straws. You need one that's, a reasonable thickness around, that's a little bit on the bigger side, and then one that's fairly narrow. So if you have one of those that's like a coffee stir stick size straw, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, like those really skinny ones are like a cocktail straw, those are perfect. I didn't have one quite that size, so the one I used is a little bit bigger than that, but if you do have one that size, it'd be better for the next stage. But after you have that little base you can take and pop it off, and then file the bottom of it so that it's nice and flat, and then a nail form backing, drop down a bead of that St. Nicholas color, and then set your base down, remove the extra acrylic from around it, and after that's cured, glue your smaller straw, which hopefully is like a swizzle stick, into the inside of your little bottle. And then after the glue has set up, then you can start sculpting the neck of the bottle and all the way up to where the mouth of the bottle is. And when you first start adding the layers of acrylic, you're going to get this pretty severe like step in it. As you can see, like it's not a smooth transition at all. It's one size and then the next size, but keep adding layers right to that transition area of the acrylic until it does look smooth. And nobody's ever going to know that the inside of the bottle is a little funky looking with these really thick areas, because all you're going to see is the outside. So you just need to make sure that the outside looks good, and then that is all you really need to worry about. So just keep, like I said, keep adding layers of acrylic. I know that this particular stage, every time I thought I was done, and I was like, oh good, it finally looks like it's all smooth, and then I would turn it, do a 360 with it just to make sure, and I'd be like, hey, wait a minute, nope, I need to add a little bit more here. And I kept doing that until I was about to drive myself crazy, and I decided I would do the rest of it and fix it up the rest of the way by filing it, which is the next step anyways. So if you keep adding layers like I did, and you keep going around in circles and your bottle still doesn't look symmetrical and even on all sides, just let your file fix it, because I think it's easier to fix it with a file later than it is to just keep adding copious amounts of acrylic at this particular moment. So just add what you want to, and then after you are relatively happy with the shape of your bottle, and at this point actually kind of less or more is better, because when you file it you will be removing some, but we're going to file the bottle into shape. So I started out by using a hand file to kind of clean up the straight edges of the bottle, so right around the neck and then right around the base of the bottle. But then in that little transition area where it goes from one size to the other, a hand file just isn't going to be able to get into that space. So you're going to want to grab a safety bit that is fairly narrow and start working on that. And the reason you want a safety bit is so you don't accidentally carve little lines into your bottle, so it all stays nice and smooth. So now with more of the St. Nicholas color, we're going to be sculpting that little ridge that's right around the top of the bottle. And so just with little beads at a time, kind of make this line that goes right around that top edge. And it's really fun actually to sculpt it because you can hold your brush in the same spot and just spin the bottle when you're cleaning up those lines, at least to an extent. And it's, yeah, just kind of a fun little twirly experience. And then glue a piece of wire into the mouth of the bottle. And now we're going to be using the color Tipsy Poodle, which I think that name just cracks me up every single time I use it. So Tipsy Poodle, which is 780, we're going to be sculpting the cork. So this is on a nail form backing, just like you did for the bottom of the bottle, that little circle. And we're going to sculpt that cork shape, which almost kind of reminds me of a mushroom or something. And just sculpt the first base of it. Don't try to worry about getting it completely built up. And then glue a piece of wire to the back of it. And then after that glue is set up, take more of your Tipsy Poodle, and we're going to be sculpting to get it to that full shape. So it looks like it's all rounded out and isn't, flat on one side or have weird edges anywhere. And for this, it's kind of the same thing with building up the shape of the bottle. It might take a couple different layers to it, because if you try to sculpt something or sculpt it all up and build it all up on this with, one bead on each side, you're going to end up kind of just chasing that acrylic around, because it's not going to want to build up height. It's going to want to flow off and drip off your cork. So if you do it bit by bit and build up the layers, it'll just be an easier, probably quicker experience. But then glue the wire of the bottle and the wire of the cork into the hole in the nail so that they kind of look like the cork is bouncing. Like it hit the nail and it went off in the other direction. So now using the color Spring Goddess, which is 1376, and just a really pretty glitter that's not, it's gold, but it's not like a yellow gold. It's more of a soft gold. We're going to be sculpting our champagne. So you want to really cover up that piece of wire. And a lot of times I do this with gel versus acrylic, because the gel is going to kind of paint and coat the wire, whereas acrylic sometimes wants to sort of slip off the wire, if you know what I mean. It kind of sticks and then it slides off and you see silver again. But to sculpt these little drips at the bottom, this acrylic worked really nicely for it. And I also was able to get some more 3D drippy looking stuff because it was with acrylic on the wire once I got a first base layer on my wire. So it did end up working out really well. So we're going to first just kind of get a layer of acrylic on that wire like you saw. And then after I have that first layer, you can get and just add more thickness to it and more dimension and keep building up layers to it. And this color that I'm using, that Spring Goddess, is so nice and it really looks champagne-y. It's like a champagne gold. But then with the different, because there's some variations in the glitter. It's not just all the same color. So that looks like it's got that little bubbly texture to it, which is perfect. And then like I said, I'm kind of building up the shape of the drips, sort of like it's liquid being pumped out of the bottle on the wire. And so now after we have all of that acrylic sculpting done, I'm going to use acrylic paint and I'm going to be adding some details to my bottle. So I want to add the label to the bottle, and there's so many different types of champagne bottle labels that when I was trying to decide which one I wanted to do, there were options for sure, but I decided to go with a gold rectangular label across the front of the bottle. And then for a second label, I still use that gold paint, and then I'm going to go across the top of the bottle and then right around the neck, almost like it's a scarf. That's what I think of it as, at least. So just kind of continue that with a triangle that goes like that, and then take that and sort of take it around, or like a bandana. Looks like a bandana to me. But after you have that gold done, then you're going to want to switch to black paint and add a second layer to that upper part of the label with black, like it's a little ribbon going around the bandana. So add that little bit, and the black should almost look like it's overlapping a little bit. So the one side should come down just ever so slightly farther than the other. And then drag that around. And I would definitely recommend using acrylic paint on the bottle versus using something like gel polish or gel paint, because this bottle is a little rough. It was just filed, and unless you really buffed it out and smoothed it out so it didn't have any of that file texture on it, it's going to be a little hard to paint with gel. But acrylic paint will paint on that really nicely, and it'll be very stable and sustainable. On the gold label that's on the front of the bottle, the rectangular one, I'm going to be painting 2020. And if you are watching this video in future years and you want to paint 2022 or 2026, then that is absolutely possible. And that is actually, I said I was going to paint 2020. I don't want to go back to the beginning of 2020. Do you? No, 2021. Geez, don't listen to me. Future years. Yeah, it's a future year already. It's 2021. Oh, man. Hi. But then you would want to switch up the year to match the year that it's about to be. and then add a circle of red right in the middle of the black ribbony scarfy part of the label. And now with a little layer of jewelry gel, I'm going to be adding some glamour to this with some rhinestones. So to apply the jewelry gel anywhere, you're going to stick a rhinestone and then fill in on top of it and around the champagne splatter with some more gel sealer to make sure that this nail stays really nice and shiny and very glassy looking. So fill in all the way around and then press the rhinestones into that jewelry gel. I used a variety of rhinestones in like golds and clear and green. So just a little bit of green to kind of tie in the color of the bottle and add just a little bit of that color back into it. I really love the color green on different things, and I think that on this bottle it just really, or when they're used on the rhinestones, it really kind of ties in that bottle color and it looks very elegant and all, all finished off. And then apply some gel sealer over the bottle itself so that the bottle looks like it is made of glass as well. And that is it. I love this nail so much. I love the way that it has that movement on it and it looks like the cork hit the nail and then continued off in the other direction. So I hope you guys love it as much as I do, and please share any recreations with me on Facebook or Instagram. And Happy New Year, everybody!